Thank you for watching RGCWV, Random Geek Culture in West Virginia. I am your host, Luke Hersey, and today we're sitting down with Jared Tadlock of 228 Studio. I mean, it's that
Gallery, yeah, studio.
okay?
It goes by a lot of different
All right.
titles.
So I've been wanting to sit down with you to do an interview for a while, and any anticipation or anything going into this?
Yeah. I know. You had chatted with me. Man, it must have been like a year ago about this, and so excited to finally able to find some time and to get going and to chat with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on last summer, and just haven't gotten back into it. I had a lot of stuff going on with work and everything, but finally able to carve out some time. So my first question is Fairmont. What difficulties or strengths or anything, just like what can you say about Fairmont?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a rare case because I'm not from Fairmont, and I would say if you stopped like every car that drove out there for a 10-minute period, I would say a high percentage of those people are born and raised in Marion County.
Yeah,
and so my wife and I came out here in 2018, so it's been however many years that is. It seems like a lot more than what it's gone by so quick, but we came out here in 2018, and we really fell in love with this community. When we moved out, the original goal was just for us to be here for 2 years. And after 2 years came up, we started thinking about, hey, like where's a place that we'd want to relocate to? And it was a place that would have access to outdoor activities. We're big into like hiking, and I love to swim and going to lakes and all that. And then, we wanted a place that was close to the beach. Here we're driving distance to the beach, and so we wanted a place that was affordable. And so for us, like we kind of made that decision in 2020 to put roots down here. And so we've been here ever since. Fairmont's a great community. Again, wasn't born here. My experience with the town is under 10 years, and again, like especially in West Virginia sense, that is still like very limited amount of time. But in the past 7 or so years that I've been here, I've seen a lot of growth in this town. And I think it's super encouraging. For us, I moved out here, to work at the university, and so we chose Fairmont State. So we chose to move here to Fairmont specifically, rather than going to like Morgantown, which is honestly where we looked when we moved here, because like, oh well, that's where everything is happening. And
there's a lot of art representation.
In
Morgantown.
There's just a little there's just a bigger community up there, and so some of that like art and culture has just had more participants in it. And so I'm really grateful and thankful that we did end up moving to Morgantown. We decided to kind of stay here in Fairmont. Because it's been, like I said, really exciting to see the growth. And, I think there's we're at a time here in town where there's, other people who are doing some really cool stuff. And it's just, there's so much potential in this area. There's so, and this region of the state, there's potential, but it's specifically here in Fairmont. I think there is.
There's something about it.
There's something about it. And it's there's the untangible things, like, there's things that are harder. I think there's like a good energy or vibe, if you want to go that way. But then also just like infrastructure, man. This downtown is 3 minutes from the interstate. And for the most part, it's a smooth drive. Granted,
there's a lot more different 20 years ago, before the connector was built. My landlord used to his house was right at the entrance of the connector, right here past the bridge. And I mean, it was actually kind of difficult to get to the interstate from downtown Fairmont. It was just going down Merchant Street and that way.
And that's that's the way that it is with these other towns in this area that are off 79. Morgantown, there's no easy way to get to it, and those roads are like terrible. They're windy. And so what I think, and we talk about this idea of like potential for Fairmont, just like the infrastructure, the fact that we have, you get off the interstate, you go around a couple roundabouts and you are in downtown. Like that potential is so, it's so valuable, you know, to get people here to visit.
Now, let me ask you this. So like Morgantown, we were talking about Morgantown just a minute ago. And Morgantown has got a unique college culture. Like even like, you know, people farther on walks in life, the college culture is still very prevalent through the entire society. Fairmont is unique. It has got such a diverse community. It has like, well, I mean, best way to put it, ghetto type neighborhoods. But then you turn around and you have a guy who's literally a senator that's from Fairmont, you know, and his family still lives here. Yeah. And so it's so very vastly diverse within a very, very small area. And I think that there's a lot of story to be told of Fairmont. I mean, you have places that's a literal hole in the wall, like Yan's Hot Dogs right over here, right around the corner. Love Yan's. But Yan's is right around the corner, and they've been in business for like 40 years or something like that. Man, and that's another thing, you know, like Fairmont. We're talking about like the diversity of many different cultures, but then you also have the diversity of just hot dog stands. Like there's like 10 hot dog stores. And everybody has their favorites, you know? And for me, you know, it's like all of these, you know, kind of similar in a lot of ways. Yan's is like completely different than all of them. But anyway, so back to my next question, why a gallery?
You know, so for me, I studied art in both undergrad and grad school. And I enjoyed, you know, as both an undergrad and a grad student, I had to, as a part of like a capstone or part of my MFA thesis, I had to put together an exhibition. Undergrad was a group exhibition. It was me and 2 other awesome painters. And then for my MFA, it was a solo exhibition. And there's something about exhibiting art is a transformational process for an artist. It changes the way that you view your work when you take it from your own possession and kind of put it out there in the public. And so for me, I really enjoyed that process. There's a performance element to it. There's just something that's enjoyable to host that party and to be able to bring friends and family together to you know, celebrate art, culture. There's something special about those moments. And so for me, you know, the towns that I've lived in, that art community was such a big part of like the cultural, it was a cultural driving force for the area. And so when I look, you know, the last town that I lived in Kansas was very similar size-wise to Fairmont. And every single season, spring, fall, summer, winter, they would have an art walk. And those art walks were huge. Again, it wasn't like this town was like full of like, you know, an unordinary amount of artists, but people there just bought in. This is what you do. One Friday night, 4 times a year, we go to downtown, we check out artists, we mingle, and we develop the culture. And so for me, when I was looking at Fairmont, you know, this space was a yoga studio for a handful of years before we moved in. And I distinctly remember the first time, I'm terrible at yoga. I went to a couple like yoga classes and I was rolling around on the ground.
Warrior pose. That's the only one I got down.
This one was just like laying on my back, like wondering what I'm doing pose. So I'm like rolling around on the ground, like literally right here. And I remember just looking up and being like, man, it's got good light. It's got light walls. It's got wood floors. Like it's got high ceilings. This place should show art. And so when this, you know, the yoga studio here, they outgrew this space. Great for them. They've since moved down. The other space they've moved in, I also went to, and I was like, man, this would make a sick gallery too. So there might be some kind of like a good yoga studio also would be a good art gallery.
Right.
But when they moved out, I just, made some phone calls and got into this space. And, again, going back to this idea of like why the gallery, I saw the comparisons between the town that I was at out in Kansas and here. And I thought, hey man, I think the community would support this. And then too, as an artist myself, as a photographer, you need reliable space to use for photo projects. And
Right.
so I needed, a studio space to store all of my gear, to do headshots, to do portraits, to do like branding work, and just to have like my own little like personal like creative space. And so I thought, hey man, like rather than just picking up a studio space that's like off the beaten path somewhere that's out in the middle of nowhere, like wouldn't it be cool to be able to occupy space downtown that I could use during the week for my own personal photo practice, but then also host events and be able to show, community art shows, great art exhibitions from solo artists, community workshops, kind of all that in one. And it all kind of collided here with this space.
Now, you were talking about the performance aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You've done some performances that are not art related,
Yeah.
but more the further art space. That's not just the on canvas medium. Mm-hmm. Tell me about some of those.
Yeah, so we've done, obviously, we've been here for close to a year and a half now. We have had some art exhibitions, some group exhibitions, but we've done a number of different events, including poetry readings. We've had a handful of concerts in here. On a monthly basis, we host what's called Craft Club, which people from the community are welcome to join us. We have tables and chairs set out. They can bring, whatever art project they're working on, and essentially we just get together and create in like a communal space. We'll have music playing, all that good stuff.
I did not know that.
Yeah, tons of fun. Second Thursday of every month, and we might expand it because people have been showing up to it,
Yeah.
And that's what, we talk about, like what we've been providing. It's been fun to see like what people respond to and, how it's received. When I opened this space, I'd been here in town for, 5-ish years, and I thought that I knew everyone who could pick up a camera or picked up a paintbrush. And every time that I'm in here, like I'm proven wrong, that there are so many more people, and not even just like in the greater like North Central region, but there are like so many more people in this town who make like awesome work and are very talented at whatever, whether it's like poetry, whether it's painting, whether it's photography. And so it's been really fun to like meet those people through events here. But yeah, to get back to your question, kind of drifting all over. We've done poetry, we've done concerts.
We're not called
workshops.
Random Great Geek Culture for no reason.
Yeah.
we put out something and we just see where the road takes us.
Good.
Yeah. So where exactly did you grow up?
So a little bit all over the place. I was born in Florida. I then moved to North Carolina when I was young. Then I moved to Ohio. Year 2000, my family moved to Colorado. Okay. And so I was 7 or 8. And so we lived out there since then, from like 2000. And then I ended up.
So you were born in California?
Florida.
Or Florida.
Yeah. Then I went to Carolina, Ohio. So it's kind of funny.
So you were in Colorado for a time?
Yes.
So ESPN has your bio wrong. It says you were born in Colorado.
Yeah. That's where I went to high school at. Yeah. So, but yeah, I've done, because I was born in Florida, then I lived in North Carolina, Ohio, Colorado, and then in high school for my senior year, I went back to North Carolina to a prep school. Then I went to college in Ohio for 2 years. Then I went to college in Kansas for 5 years, and now I'm back in West Virginia. So I've made the circle 2.5 times now, and I'm hoping to stay still.
So when you say you chose Fairmont, you didn't choose Fairmont because this is where you're born or even where you grew up or anything. You chose Fairmont.
Yeah, there was a job at the university, and I was doing at the time photo and video work for the marketing department. Okay. Those positions, you don't get to choose necessarily. They pop up and then, oh, that sounds cool. You see it on higheredsjobs.com or like some other database. And so position came up, ended up taking it. And, my wife and I were both finishing grad school and we were like, oh, that would be cool. I'd driven through West Virginia, never spent time. And we're like, oh, that'd be fun. Sounds like an adventure. It looks pretty. There's some like little ski resorts and all kinds of stuff. And so that kind of kickstarted that whole process. We're like, oh, let's go do 2 years. It'll be fun. It'll be something new.
Yeah.
We were out in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, which was good, but it just was different. It was rather than driving an hour and a half to go to Pittsburgh up there, you drive an hour and a half to a town that had an Olive Garden. So when we moved here, all of a sudden it's like there's so much around. I mean, again, like, New York.
Well, you mentioned Pittsburgh.
Drive. Yeah, Pittsburgh, DC, like Cleveland.
I can't tell you how many times that was our weekend, was we were driving up to Pittsburgh to go to another museum.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why Bella was so drawn to some kind of medium, of creativity, was we spent so much time in museums. And I'm really thankful that we were able to go to all those up in Pittsburgh, but one's in Morgantown, one's in Charleston, one the Clay Center down in Charleston.
Yeah, that one's cool, man.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah, they have like the whole state history like walkthrough exhibit. It was really cool down there.
Yeah, I really like Pittsburgh though, especially with all the Fred Rogers' influence at so many of these museums is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got little exhibits everywhere. Heinz Museum, the Children's Museum. Yeah. Anyway, so your wife does art too. Did you get her into art, or did she get you into art, or did you guys meet because you're both into art?
So I've always, even when I was like a kid, I was really interested in photography, and I had I had one really great high school art professor who she took me in under her wing.
We all have some story like that.
Yeah, no, like literally, like I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for Mrs. Lang in North Carolina. The 1 year I was in North Carolina. I mean, I didn't have a place to like paint, and so like. Her and her husband were both artists. He taught at a school in the town we were at, and they like brought me in and let me just like have a corner in their home studio. And so I just would like paint like wild. And so I was always more inclined, and then, through guidance, kind of like, shown the way. And for my wife, she, the stuff that she does now, she has her own business called Made by Meg, and she's upcycling textiles and like found vintage thrifted quilts into clothes.
My daughter loves her stuff.
Yeah, she'd love to hear that. She does it's all behind us back here. Yeah. I don't know if you might be able to see it. I don't know.
Yeah, you can see it on camera too.
But she grew up sewing, and she worked in a sewing shop all throughout high school. And it wasn't until just before we moved in on the gallery that she, about a year or so before is when she kind of like fired up that sewing machine again and started using it as like a creative outlet. Right. For me, the arts is just always a way to like, relax and to like let off steam. And, for her, it kind of like the same thing, just discovering like the therapeutic nature of it.
Now, when you say, the letting off steam, do you ever find, I remember doing a lot of art in high school that sometimes whatever piece I was working on would send me in the other direction. Do you ever find yourself doing that where it actually stresses you out, but in a good way?
Not necessarily, I think a lot of the stuff that I do, I've gotten good at just like shutting my brain off at this point. And so I think a big part of like the creative process is like holding on to your ideas loosely. And so you have to like allow for yourself to like have interpretation of like your own, like even if it's like your own self-given prompt, like you have to like hold ideas loosely. And that's something that I do pride myself in like in recent years, just like if I'm going out and shooting photos, it's being able to switch into the mind state where it's like, I'm not looking for that one image. I'm just exploring what's around me, you know? And for me, that act of just like going out with like a loose guide of what I'm looking for, you know, and for me, it's like, I'm looking for colors, textures, things that don't belong. That's what I'm looking for. And so for me, just that process of like switching my mind where I'm like, you know, sending emails and like scheduling meetings and doing like day job stuff, just to be able to like, hey, we're going to listen to music and we're going to go for a drive, be in the moment and just like quiet everything out. Like for me, it's still like therapeutic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that would probably be one of your pieces of advice to, you know, coming up artists is, you know, turn your brain off and be in the moment.
Yeah. You should have expectations of what you're going to create for sure. But at the same time, like you have to allow yourself to like make those mistakes, because if you go in with everything with like, well, I'm going to have these expectations where it has to be a great piece. If I go out every time and I'm like, if I don't take the best photo of my career right now, then I'm going to be miserable. Like, dude, congrats, you're going to be miserable. So like you have to go out with the idea like, hey, I'm going to search for something. And if I don't find it today, we're going to keep going, you know? And so for me, it's like, I have an idea of what I'm looking for, but I'm not going to hold that idea so tightly that if I don't find it, I'm going to be like, you know, a wreck. I'm going to hold on to that idea loosely. I'm going to interpret. If I'm looking for this color scheme and I find something else, then I'll allow myself to kind of reinterpret what I'm looking for and adjust like that standard, I guess.
Well, let's use this as a segue for another question. What inspires you as an artist?
Man, it's a bit of everything, culture in general. You know, I think a lot of the stuff that I look at, it's movies and film, it's TV shows, it's other artists. Music for me is a big inspiration in what I do. At any given point of the day, I'm listening to like Spotify. Like I'm in my office all day. I'll jump from like Velvet Underground to like pop punk to maybe like more hardcore, straight into like rap and electronic. Like depending on the day, I'm listening to like any genre of music. And so for me, it's just
country?
Like, yeah, I don't like stadium country, but I love like singer-songwriter stuff. I love like,
I like cowboy country. That's what that's my, I can listen to cowboy, like Coulter Wall.
Oh yeah.
Yo, man, he's something.
And that's like, I think country gets a bad rap, but for me, it's just like, well, a lot of pop music does kind of like suck. And so like,
it's a subgenre, you know.
For me, like radio, like I don't listen
to
pop
country. I don't like.
Yeah. But I don't listen to like pop rock and roll very much. Like I don't like the polished radio stuff. Like, so yeah, I think hating on country is like that's a bad take, because there's like incredible soulful music that's like technically country, or like Americana is the new label that a lot of stuff gets. But yeah, for me, it's music. It really inspires what I do a lot. You know, it's just like the way a song sounds and trying to like channel that into the way my art, or I hate saying the way my photography is edited and approached. You know, and lately I've been listening to like a bunch of this like, it's like slowcore music. It's stuff like this band Duster. There's a band called Sign Crush's Motorist, and it's like really like sad, drawn out, slow music. I think like it's really like inspiring the way I approach colors.
Now, here's a question. Now, so you know, your photography and everything, you've got that one picture. Have you, and you add a lot of digital to it. A lot of digital to it. Have you ever gone to edit one of the pictures and was listening to one genre of music and then completely go back and listen to another genre and see what differences would come out?
No, that'd be an interesting process, because a lot of the times, I mean, the way I make like the marks on it is like very much influenced by like the tempo of the music. That'd be an interesting like practice. I'll have to give that a shot sometime. That'd be fun.
I just gave you an idea. There you go. Okay, so now not just here in North Central, but West Virginia as a whole, how do you think its approach is to art?
So West Virginia is unique because there's not very many people in the state, dude. Well, how it was like 2 million, 3 million or something? Like, I forget what the stat is. It's not that many people.
Yeah.
And it is like a decent sized state. And so what I think is really interesting about the state of West Virginia is like the art community is so small and accessible. Whereas like you're in a state like Colorado or, you know, one of these other states in the East Coast, like, you know, Pennsylvania, you have artists from Pittsburgh, you have artists from Philadelphia, you have artists from all over in between. In West Virginia, you know, it's all kind of this corridor. It's Morgantown, it's North Central, it's Charleston, Huntington, and there's like Beckley, Fayetteville. And so within like the arts, and then obviously like Thomas is like its own.
I was gonna mention Thomas.
Yeah, they're also like it's like the little like there's a couple little hubs, and even like Parkersburg, Marietta has, you know, some really cool stuff going on. But it's the art community is a lot smaller, and so what's been really fun again, like opening up this space is like, you know, you think you know everyone, but then you start realizing like, oh, there's people so-and-so up in Wheeling doing great work and down in Fayetteville, and the community is so much more accessible than what you would anticipate, you know, for like an entire state.
Yeah.
And there's which, you know, brings up, you know, there's conversations that you can have with folks. You know, one of the first shows that we had in here was an illustrator up in Wheeling named Logan Schmidt. Logan's work is incredible, you know, and he was someone that just by being on Instagram, you know, I followed him, he followed me back. And, you know, he also has this like great vision for like supporting other artists and creatives. And so one of the first solo show we had in here, he was like, yeah, I'll come down, I'll set up, I'll do whatever. And so there is like a really great community of people that seem to be, you know, willing to support and to just like further the goal. Cause I think, within this state, I don't know. It seems like there's good people with like a less ego and just like a more like genuine sense of like wanting to help and to grow something here.
I think that part of that might be, you know, West Virginia as a whole, like per capita, we have like such a large art scene. We have such a large country pride. You know, we have per cap. Well, like for instance, per capita, we've lost more people to the Vietnam War than any other state in the Union, because we had so many people that they were like, yeah. We're all in. We're gonna. I just feel like, you know, West Virginia has this like, I don't know, this natural feeling of we can do whatever we want. You know, if you want to be an artist, great, go do that.
Yeah.
You know, do what you want to do. Find your passion.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, like, well, for instance, like IT work. There's so much IT work in West Virginia. In 2020, we had more people move to West Virginia than any other state to do IT work, because everybody was allowed to telework.
Yeah.
You know, so you're like, hey, I'm gonna do a day job where I'm gonna sit at my computer, but after I'm done, I want to be able to go out and do something.
Yeah.
Let's go somewhere where we can go outside and do something.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I think that's it's really unique for our state. Oh, here you go. So working with other artists, you already mentioned this, but other artists within West Virginia, how has that experience been?
Yeah, man, it's been great. Like I said, you know, there's a really cool, like a close community out here, and you meet one person and they'll introduce you to someone else. And, you know, as long as, you know, it seems like everyone has the same goal, you know, which is like to create and to build and foster like community out here. And so it's been awesome, man. Again, meeting new people, getting to collaborate with them and to host them for shows. It's an honor, man, to be able to like use this space to introduce people to work and to ideas and topics that they might not consider before walking in the door. So it's something that I'm very grateful for the trust that folks have given me to hang their work on the walls. And, it's something that without we wouldn't be able to exist, So very, very thankful for the support we've had from not just the art community, but like the greater, West Virginia community as a whole.
Now, what about other businesses, working with other businesses, not just here in Fairmont, but the surrounding? I mean, you probably got good business relationships with some of the other businesses in Fairmont, like who specifically?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of people here, within the last 3 years that have opened up their doors and kind of just been running like full speed ahead. And, for us to kind of join and to be part of like this new narrative for Fairmont, I think is really exciting. Loving West Virginia down the street, they bought that building and they spent, and they're still working. I mean, that building's huge. It's really awesome. They put so much time and effort into building that and into making that a destination. Hannah down the street at Hannah's Clay Creations, I mean, she bought that building. It's beautiful. Her and her family did such great work. Her and her dad did a bunch of the work inside, and it's beautifully done. And we have obviously the Joe's been here forever, and what's been really cool is last couple weeks, last couple months is in the last year or so is to see that growth over on Merchant Street. I've got some canvases over here on the wall that I will be taking down there and hanging up on the walls down at Parkside later. And so it's cool, man. Cause again, in a community like this, if you show up and you start putting in work and you show that you are serious about your business idea or just building community, the people are going to be welcoming to you, man. And that's what I found. Cause again, I came into this not as a serial entrepreneur or a business mindset, but it's just I just wanted a place to make art and to show art. And by doing that, the business community here has been so welcoming, and it's been great just to, meet other people that are also doing really cool things and investing their time, their effort, their money into, helping transform Fairmont into this, this new, beacon of culture, which I believe is the direction we're heading in. That will be a destination for this North Central region.
Awesome. Well, I think that's the end of my notes. Anything else that you want to add?
No, I just gratitude again. Thank you for chatting with me and just for, the people that stop by and shop with us and that share the social media posts. It's as a business owner, you see the cliche posts where it's it costs $0 to share and to an Instagram post. But for us to be able to get organic reach, to have more people know about what's happening here, that means so much. And so, what I would encourage anyone who's listening or watching is if you want something positive to happen in your town, just be part of it, join. It costs $0 to join and to obviously I can't say it costs $0 to financially support, but look, for example, we have gallery openings here, and you don't have to buy things to just come here and hang out. Obviously it would be nice to grab some stickers or something to help keep the lights on, but that's not important. What's important is showing people that there is stuff to do and there's a reason to be out and about. And so that's my thing. It's just one, thank you to the people that have supported us. And then two, I get people asking me hey, how can we support? How can we, do this or that? Or how can I bring this experience to my own town? And it's just more often than not, there are people that are trying to build something, and just support those people that are doing that. Show up, be another body in the room that's talking and that's bringing excitement. Bring your friends to what's happening. I think that conversation of like, oh, there's nothing to do in this town. Like, people think it's location specific and it's just specific to the town you grew up in. Dude, it's everywhere. Everyone has that same mentality.
Yeah.
And so what do you have to do? You have to find someone who's like trying to fight that narrative. And there are people that are doing that, and you got to throw yourself in,
I've been in
head first.
I've been in other towns, and I mean, that's one of the things that I always liked about Fairmont. I mean, yeah, there's lots to do in Morgantown. There's lots to do in Pittsburgh and everything.
Yeah.
But like, there's a uniqueness to the things that you can find in Fairmont.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of, like you said, potential to really, do something here.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you sat down to talk with me today, and I'm really excited to get this out. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and transition to the last piece. I don't know how much you've watched my podcast before, but at the end we always do like a geek out. Yeah. Something that we're really like excited about that's coming, that's down the pipe or anything. Got anything like that going on for you right now?
I'll
put you on the spot. I'm
sorry.
I've
got a bunch. I've got two. There's too many projects. There's too many projects going on right now to pick one to like geek out on. I don't want to give away too much about what we're happening, around here this summer, because we're still kind of planning some stuff out. But in terms of like, are we talking media? Are we talking
anything? I mean, yeah. Like for me, like I'll go. Yeah. So for me, like I finally got to watch Francis Ford Coppola's last film, Megalopolis.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good. Kind of a mess. Kind of great.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of Coppola. It's kind of it's so tenuous. I mean, you watch it and it's like, wow, this is
yeah.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
And
I feel like the reason why a lot of theaters didn't show it is because it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It is it's an art film.
We need more of that, though. That's what we need to make people mad and make them bored. Not everything needs to be like the golden corral of media where it's like, oh, there's something for everyone. No. More movies should be fully funny, or movies should not be funny. Like we kind of hit this like saturation point where it's like, well, every movie should be serious and it also should be funny. And it's like, no, we need to make stuff that's like drawn out, that angers people. I mean, I love that. I need to watch it.
Yeah, well, no, that's the thing too, is like if you make a movie for everybody, it's not for anybody.
Yeah.
So, and there has been, some good movies, but like, usually they're just they're so rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great example is like, I'm really into video games, and we've gotten so many formulaic video games that like, nothing interesting, nothing new is coming out. But then every once in a while we'll have that like amazing game, and like everybody will just like shit all over it, and it's like it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Like perfect example, the Captain Marvel movie. I went and saw it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's and then I'm like kind of getting out of the theater, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty good. And Bella and Cassie, they were like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah. That's a way to be. That's a good way to like increase your positive, like your well-being, is to be able to identify stuff that's like for you and not for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's sick. I'm glad someone else really liked it.
Yeah. I was just watching a video today, and Bella, she was like, "Why are you watching that?" And I was like, it's a counterpoint argument, and how I can't grow as a person if I just have one narrow field.
Yeah.
So, you got anything going on? We're throwing it back to you.
I did just watch on Netflix. There's a series called Adolescence, which was like, it's 4 episodes. It's a very heavy subject matter, but it's 4 episodes shot in continuous, like, one take.
Really?
It's insane. It's really
one take
impressive.
Movies are really interesting sometimes.
Yeah, this is 4 1-hour-long episodes, and it's like no frills. It is actual, like, one take.
Yeah.
So I watched that this last week. I don't get a chance to watch as many. I used to watch, like, try and get to like 200, 250 new movies a year. I had a stretch where I did that. Since opening the gallery, I don't have as much time to watch movies.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I don't see how you could do that now.
Yeah. Adolescence was good though. We just watched that. We binged it over the weekend.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
And I'll have to see about getting you a copy of the Megalopolis.
Yeah. I'll have to find. I'll check it out. I mean, obviously he's like one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and it's really kind of unfortunate that he like almost bankrupted himself making this movie.
Yeah.
And so in Lionsgate is like kind of being a jerk about the whole distribution thing and everything. But I mean, he said it very well. This movie was not about making money at all. It was about what I wanted to make. And he's so good at taking books and turning it into an actual tangible movie. I mean, Apocalypse Now from Heart
of Darkness.
Yes, Heart of Darkness. Yeah. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
And then love that book. I've read that probably like 7 or 8 times, and not until like the 5th time I was like, I get it now.
Yeah.
Or what is the Bram Stoker's Dracula? Another fantastic one.
Yeah.
Or even did you ever read the novel of Godfather?
Did not. No.
It's actually good.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. A little bit of a different tone but I was like going back and watching like interviews and stuff. And he actually, when he read the book, he was like, if I could make a movie just about that dynamic, that would be a good movie. Because the book was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
It was a really good audiobook. But no, it's I'm an audiobook guy.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm not a...
Yeah.
I can't sit down and read. Yeah. I read technical documents all the time at work, and I can't read for like enjoyment anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
So anyway, this was fantastic, Jared. I'm really glad that we did this. And
likewise.
So anyway, this has been RGCWV, Random Geek Culture in West Virginia. I'm your host, Luke Hersey. And if you like this, look up some of the other stuff that we've done, because we've done a lot. I don't even know which episode we're on now. 80-something, I think. And you can send me a text at 304-566-9777. You can email me at randomwvgeek@gmail.com. And you can hit up all the social media garbage and do all the things in all the places. So anyway, welcome to the end.